Welcome to EVTN News, your source for all of the news in the world. At least that's what we identify as a comprehensive source for all news everywhere. EVTN, we also identify as fully jabbed. So there you go. And the first story I want to talk about, and the biggest story, is that Pope Francis wants to study communion for Protestants. So this was posted by Marco Tessati on August 4th. And he said the rumors say Francis instructed the secretary of the Liturgy Committee, Archbishop Vittorio Francesco Viola, a former lecturer at the Anti-Catholic Liturgical Institute of Sant'Anselmo, Rome, to organize a confidential commission in September and to report directly within only 2 months to Francis. And so if there are communion, if this happens, if there is communion for Protestants, I don't know. It'd be the most serious offense of Pope Francis's pontificate, and there have been several, including the most recent Latin Mass document, the atrocious Latin Mass document. But no, this is just a rumor. As I say about any rumor, you know, we don't know if it's true, but if it is, this is very concerning. And within 2 months, so August 4th, September, October, beginning of October is whenever he would receive the report, maybe make a decision in October or November, move forward very quickly like he did with the Latin Mass document. So with this, it also brings to question the discussion that Pope Francis, his health is in serious, it's a serious concern, I guess, is what I would say about his health. There have been rumors that he had colon cancer. That may not be true. Again, no one really knows. And Gloria TV seemed to dismiss those rumors in one of their reports recently. So, like I said, I don't like to discuss a whole lot about rumors, but communion for Protestants, that would be an absolute train wreck. Any Catholic would wake up at that point. And there's a lot of people that go to the Novus Ordo and don't really pay attention to the news, and they don't really pay attention to what's going on in the church, and by and large, probably are unaware of most of the stuff that Pope Francis ever says, and most of the decisions that he ever makes. And they would probably wake these people up, and because if there's intercommunion for Protestants, then why bother attending a Catholic church? Why not go to a Protestant church with a better worship service? And so that's that. This is going to be. I mean, it's a big story if it is the case. So the next story, Pope Francis reinstates a suspended bishop. Let's see. Trnava Archbishop Robert Bizak of Slovakia. Pope Francis met with him on June 24th. He co-presided a Eucharist with him and returned him the episcopal ring, which he had sent to the Vatican years ago in one of his many appeals for a review of his case. In January 2012, an apostolic visit led by Bishop Jan Baxant of Litomeris found that Bizak himself was guilty of statements contrary to church doctrine regarding female priesthood, priestly celibacy, and premarital sex. In July 2012, Bizak was removed. And so Pope Francis meets with him and presumably rehabilitates him. This bishop, this archbishop, he opposed the Catholic faith on the female priesthood. That makes him a heretic. That also puts him in direct opposition to canon law. So Pope Francis meets with him and presumably rehabilitates him. Like, you can't make this stuff up. This is so ridiculous. And we're the problem. Those of us that attend the Latin Mass are the problem. Did you guys see the Novus Ordo table that was installed at St. Peter's Basilica? It looks very out of place. There's an upside down cross at the front of the table, which definitely is concerning. people say it presumably represents the crucifixion of St. Peter. I mean, let's hope, because it is a Catholic church, and if it represents something else, that'd be pretty problematic, don't you think? All right, so we're getting into Virus Church. The Virus Church stories. The Archdiocese of New York, they have instructed priests not to grant religious exemptions for the jab, saying to do so would contradict the Pope. Well, what about contradicting logic and Jesus Christ? Contradicts both of those. And so, in this situation, I would call for Cardinal Dolan to resign. Clearly, he has deviated from the Catholic faith. This is out of his competence. What about the salvation of souls? What about James Martin in his diocese, in his archdiocese, going around New York spreading his errors? Cardinal Dolan is, and any of the priests that support this, they should resign as well. I mean, we're the Catholic Church, not the Virus Church. And I've said this many times before, but it's pathetic. Mount St. Mary's seminarians are also required to be jabbed. The seminary should be shut down, or at least the priests involved or the people making decisions here, they should be removed. They should be definitely fired. And Father Z talked about this in his blog. Part of the note of St. Mary's Mount St. Mary's Seminary. So the deadline to submit an exemption request for medical or sincerely held religious beliefs has now passed. And so the seminarians, what they should do, they should make a big deal about it. They should show up, see what happens, and they're not going to be accepted in there. But they need to demand a full refund, and possibly even more, just to show to make a point, because this is not Catholic in any way. Mount St. Mary's was on the Newman Guide for a while. It was one of the most Catholic universities in the United States for a long time, and I think within the last few years, maybe I want to say like the last 3 years, it has dropped off the list. And are you surprised why? Probably not. But it's the seminary, it had a good reputation, but no longer. You really the seminaries that are any good, there may be a few good Novus Ordo seminaries. I don't know, but really you need to focus on FSSP Institute and SSPX seminaries. Those are the ones that are going to teach the Catholic faith, and that's becoming very clear. Now, bishops who are not part of the Virus Church, Colorado bishops, they stood up for the Catholic faith. So they released a letter that said, in the case of the jab, we are convicted that the government should not impose medical interventions on an individual or group of persons. We urge respect for each person's conviction and personal choices. These bishops of Colorado: Archbishop Samuel Acula of Denver, Bishop Stephen Berg of Pueblo, Bishop James Golka of Colorado Springs, and Auxiliary Bishop Jorge Rodriguez of Denver. And so, good job to these bishops of Colorado. Thank you very much for standing up for Catholics. We're going to need your defense. And also, so we see the Archdiocese of New York opposing the bishops of Colorado. This is division. There's division in the USCCB, and it's very obvious. So what about that divisive document on the Eucharist? Do we need unity? Because I think that I think we need to make a choice here. Which bishops are we going to stand with? And that's the case. Bishops oppose each other all the time. Who are we going to stand with? Which ones are we going to stand with? And you have to make your choice. And even like, for example, the SSPX, we have Cardinal Burke saying that they're schismatics. Bishop Athanasius Schneider says they're fine. So it's like you got to really come down and discern and figure these things out on yourself, because the bishops aren't going to be able to help you. The priests aren't going to be able to help you because they're disagreeing with each other. So you can ask advice of good priests and good bishops. But in the case of Cardinal Burke and Bishop Athanasius Schneider, both of them I would say are pretty good. And so where do you but they oppose each other on the issue of the SSPX. So like at that point, you really have to just figure it out for yourself, unfortunately. Or you could ask a priest, pretty well if they're a good traditional priest and figure it out. I don't know. This is the really unfortunate situation the laity are placed in, because you know it's really tough. A lot of things are not tough in the Catholic faith. Um, a lot of points of the Catholic faith are not very difficult to understand. It's just that there are a lot of bishops that are promoting certain ideas, but that doesn't make them right, and you know that. And it's very obvious. So let me move to Pope Francis will be spying on the Latin masses. So this is from LifeSite News. It said there is an expectation that Pope Francis intends to implement his motu proprio, essentially suppressing the traditional Latin Mass with the help of a spy system, and especially of the head of the Congregation of Religious, Cardinal João Braz de Aviz. Braz de Aviz has a record of harshly persecuting tradition-oriented religious communities, most prominently the Franciscans of the Immaculate. So I did some Wikipedia research, so yeah, pretty in-depth. And in July 2012, Pope Benedict XVI authorized an apostolic visitation recommended by João Braz de Aviz, the prefect of the Congregation for the Institutes of Consecrated Life and Societies of Apostolic Life. This was stated to be due to 5 priests complaining that the institute had an overly traditionalist bent. And this was a group of nuns, traditionalist nuns, Franciscan Friars of the Immaculate. One of the priests, Alfonso Maria Bruno, welcomed the apostolic visitation, accusing the sisters of becoming accustomed to using the extraordinary form exclusively, and that their decision had then been exploited by traditionalist groups, so this group was suppressed. And so getting back to the LifeSite News article, as one well-experienced Vatican observer who asked to remain unnamed puts it, I think the Pope will punish in every way possible any bishop who defies him directly. He has used his spy networks to good effect during his entire career, and he has never ceased. This source thinks that the Pope might even use, but get this, okay, listen closely here. This source thinks that the Pope might even use the accusations of cover-up of sexual abuse as a tool to silence the resistant bishops. There's dirt in every diocese, and Pope Francis is going to use that to his advantage. Possibly. I don't know. I mean, come on. Like, are they really going to... Do they really have enough people on the side of the corruption network to spy on these Latin Mass communities? I mean, do they really want to? I don't know. That's up in the air. We'll see what happens with that. There's an Argentinian diocese that posted a prayer to Pachamama. The Diocese of Venado Tuerto's Caritas branch apologized last Tuesday for having posted on its social media a prayer to Pachamama. It says the Pachamama is a symbol of fertility of the earth and the sacredness of life. It is a myth full of spiritual meaning that can be used to advantage. They deleted the post, and it also said some religious festivals have a sacred meaning and are occasions for gathering and fraternity. These are new paths for the Church and for the achievement of an integral ecology. Holy Father Francis. So, yeah, it deleted, like the diocese deleted it, so I don't know if it came from the bishop or some employee that was particularly crazy, or I don't know. But more news from Argentina is that Bishop Gustavo Sanchetta, a veteran prelate who once boasted of his friendship with the Pope, will be tried criminally in October in his former diocese on allegations of sexual abuse against seminarians. A hearing in the case against the former bishop of Oran and Argentina's northern Salta region will take place October 12th to 15th this year. And he resigned in 2017 from his diocesan position, citing health reasons, but a few months later, the pontiff appointed Zanchetta to the administration of the patrimony of the Apostolic See, otherwise known as the Vatican Bank, which functions as the central bank for Vatican City and which administers the Vatican's financial portfolio. So he has he has moral criminals handling the financial the Bank of the Vatican. The he has compromised individuals handling the financial matters for the Vatican. And speaking of that, Damian Thompson, and I'm not going to actually quote this article, but there's a link down below. There are many links down below. If you check out any of these links, I would recommend Damian Thompson's summary of the Vatican financial scandals. He sums it up very nicely. So, and I was talking to Brett the Fog yesterday, and I was telling him, Damian Thompson, like I said, I complimented this article by him because I said it's a summary. It's a really concise summary, and as opposed to like the Pillar. Now, the Pillar does do investigations into the Vatican's financial corruption, but their articles are extremely long. It's basically like, I don't know what you call it, like a term paper, because it's so extensive. And for me, even though I have a financial background, reading the Pillars research, even though it's really good research and it lays out everything, still for me it's hard to understand just because there's so many factors in play. So Damian Thompson's summary is very good. And now the Pillar itself, like their kind of research and their term paper research, if you will, that's necessary for for really anyone in the Catholic media to read over this stuff, to see what's going on and hear their research. Um, okay, so the last article or link I want to post is there are more anti-Latin mass updates on the way. Rorate Cheli posted this, and for now, I'm going to give Rorate Cheli some props. I'm going to, I guess I'm going to trust that the rumors that he hears are correct. Um, he said there are rumors going around that after summer, an application document of Traditionis Custodes will be released by the divine worship and religious congregations that will be even more restrictive. So I don't know what the application document is. Is it a secondary document, or is it like an actual application where you have to apply for for an application to say Latin Mass? Or so I don't know what the word application means in the sentence. It could be a follow up. I don't know, but regardless, it seems like this is planned. There could be more restrictions released, and at that point, you need to go SSPX. I mean, seriously, network with some people. You know, do what you can. Um, get your Latin Mass, private Latin Mass chapels ready. See if there's a priest who will say a private Mass for you every week. I don't know. I mean, this is getting crazy here. And who knows how long Pope Francis will live, but if he lives this long, there could be some pretty catastrophic effects. And also, we do need to start taking a look at who's going to be the next pope. And if he does live, there will be another consistory of cardinals. And I don't know. I mean, I'll have to talk about this in a separate video. Anyway, let me get to some of these comments here. I see there's been a lot of comments, so let me scroll through. Oh, thank you everyone for tuning in. Okay, Pope Francis will not stop with his Marxist march on the faith, just like the Marxists running across the globe. Benedict will outlive Francis. Heather Whitehead predicts this. That'll be interesting. Then at the next conclave, will they elect? Will they elect Benedict? Will they re-elect Benedict as Pope? Wouldn't that be crazy? Wouldn't that be an interesting turn of events? Or I don't know how crazy it would be. Any clergy promoting the poison poke? Oh, that's a good one. I might have to use that instead of jab. I think that's like a key word at this point. The poison poke is not of God. They are demonically inspired tools of evil. Yeah, that's why I think they should resign. Okay. Does the Catholic... Okay, let's see here. Anyone hear about the letter with 3 bullets sent to Pope Francis today? I saw something about it. I don't know if it was a joke or a rumor or what. I have no idea. I guess another news story. So there was this. I don't know what I want to call him. Homeless immigrant in France who killed a Catholic priest who took him in and gave him shelter. Now, Gloria TV showed a picture of this guy, this fugitive, who met with Pope Francis, and I think he was charged with burning one of the French churches a little while ago, and now he ends up killing this priest. And I don't know what religion he was, but any guesses what religion he was? I think we all have an idea. All right, well, this has been EVTN News. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you so much for your comments. Until next time, this EVTN is the most successful news program in the last decade, in the last century. We identify as being the most successful news program in the past century. And we also identify as fully jabbed with one of those non abortion jabs. So that would get us access to everything, inside access at the Vatican. How about that? We'll be able to travel to the Vatican. So that'll be great. And then when there's a Catholic Pope, then he will declare that all can visit the Vatican, because you know what? We want to welcome everyone to the Vatican, Catholic or non-Catholic. We want to welcome you to convert, and that's just how it works. Because they say all are welcome, but not all are, not all get into the kingdom of heaven. I really hate the song "All Are Welcome," but I do want to say that people are welcome to come to a Catholic church, especially the Latin Mass. And you don't have to be Catholic to come to a Latin Mass. You just have to be Catholic to receive communion. You should, hopefully, you would convert, receive the sacraments, and that would be that. So, anyway, thank you so much for watching. We are the laity, and we will not be silent.